Babe in total control of herself. I fuck with that. Okay. I fuck with that. Today, I want to talk about the importance of not only valuing yourself, but also respecting yourself and how this plays into relationships and dynamics that you form with individuals. And, I really do think that respecting yourself and valuing yourself are synonymous. There's not too big of a difference, at least in my understanding, between how those things look and how they translate. But I think it's also important to talk about this idea, especially in relationships, because I think one of the things that causes a relationship to deteriorate very quickly is loss of respect, right? Loss of respect for yourself, which then in turn creates a dynamic where somebody else doesn't respect you. Same thing with value. When you don't value yourself properly, somebody else isn't going to value you properly. And before I even get into this topic, I do want to talk about the importance of going through the internal changes, because I'm seeing a lot of people come on my channel and talk about circumstantial things like men this, woman that, just to make it clear, okay? The dating pool is like this. This is how people are, okay? I'm going to make myself very clear here. I love men. I love women, okay? I know I put out a video yesterday specifically to women because that topic needed to be spoken about, all right? When you want to create a change in your life, it's not about going out into your physical reality and trying to make that change occur. It's about going through an internal change, because you're only going to see and create how you identify in this world, right? It's like, I was thinking of an example of kind of how I can explain this last night, but like a street that you drove down hundreds of times, right? And then all of a sudden one day you drive down it and you're like, oh my God, what is that thing right there? I never noticed that before, right? Was it because that thing wasn't there, or was it because it just wasn't within your perception field? Very simple, silly example, but when we hold on to negative beliefs and negative self-image and negative self-concept, limiting beliefs about different areas of our life, the very things that we desire could be right in front of us, and we're not even going to be able to see it. It's not even going to come into our perception field. So above all else, it is not about going out into your reality and searching for something or trying to make something happen. It really is about going through an internal change. Because until you go through an internal change, a foundational change in how you identify within yourself and how you see the world, what you believe about the world, what you believe about relationships, what you believe about men, what you believe about women, whatever it is, okay? Until you go through that change, you're only going to be searching for evidences of what you believe, okay? That's why circumstances don't matter, because if you continue to look out at circumstances, okay, and say, well, nothing's ever going to change. This just is how it is. I can't get what I want. Then you're fucked, right? Like you just give up. There's nothing you can do, okay? But that's not true. You can create a change in your life and you can get what you want out of this world, but it really begins internally. So I'm not here to hate on men. I'm not here to hate on women. Love both, okay? And also, I'm not here to perpetuate any sort of limiting stories, narratives, beliefs about relationships, your ability to materialize a relationship. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter how many things you've gone through in life that were negative. None of those, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, okay? What matters is how dedicated and disciplined you are to going through this internal change and to stepping into a new version of yourself that respects yourself, loves yourself, knows what you want, knows how to handle situations and not see them as evidence of what you're going to create in your life. Continue to remain self-recognized, self-identified, and confident with what you're doing. Okay, if you can do those things, you're going to be very successful. All right, so I just want to make that really clear. All right, let's talk about respecting yourself. Okay. And again, it goes hand in hand, in my opinion, with valuing yourself properly. But I'm going to go at this from the standpoint of why I say most things don't need a reaction. And in yesterday's video, I really popped off on some things that I was telling women about men, right? Like, you don't have to ask for things. You don't have to ask for somebody to love you. You don't have to ask for somebody to respect you. You don't have to ask for somebody to text you. You don't have to ask for somebody to decide to be with you. You don't have to ask for somebody to decide if you're good enough. I understand, like, you know, I'm very aware of the social landscape, okay? And I used to have a tendency to have no issue with reacting, okay? Meaning I had no problem telling you uh, exactly why I didn't like something in a way that was not the cutest, okay? And I still have a very upfront personality, but I think the way that I present myself and the way that I handle things has changed vastly because of how I value myself and how I respect myself now. I think there are some moments where giving something a very negative reaction is necessary, right? If somebody's threatening you, if somebody is attacking you, or if somebody is attacking your integrity, right? You as an individual, people that you're close to. I think that in those moments, that making it very clear that you're not somebody to fuck with could be appropriate, okay? But for the most part, when we're thinking about interpersonal relationships and rough patches, or people that are doing things that are a little cockroach behavior, okay, how we choose to respond to it is really important, because when we choose to respect ourselves and give a respectful response instead of just negatively reacting to what's going on around us, we unconsciously also show people that they need to respect us, right? And that's why not blowing up somebody's phone, screaming and yelling at somebody, attacking somebody is attractive and important, right? If somebody's not showing up the way that you desire, then value yourself, respect yourself, respond appropriately, or remove yourself, right? Another thing with how you respect in relationships is, and this ties so heavily into self-concept and your self-image, and this is why going through these internal changes are so important. I'm going to be extremely honest here, okay? When I say this, a lot of people are struggling with insecurities, lack of self-recognition, lack of self-respect, and either limiting beliefs about themselves or limiting beliefs about different areas of their life. And what does that cause when you're operating in that way? It's going to cause you to unconsciously place people, places, or things on a pedestal and view them as better than who you are, and something that you don't want to lose, right? Which I get that. I understand not wanting to lose things in your life. However, when you're operating in that manner, you're going to have a higher tendency to not value yourself or respect yourself, because you don't want to lose this person, place, or thing. When we begin to not respect ourselves and not value ourselves and over prioritize something or over prioritize a person, we're going to show that person, that place, whatever it is, that it can do whatever it wants. It doesn't matter. We're not going anywhere. And at the end of the day, in my genuine, honest opinion, we want to respect, value, and love one another. Okay. I don't care what anybody says. Nobody wants to be with an individual that does not value themselves properly, love themselves properly, or respect themselves. So even if respecting yourself and valuing yourself properly makes somebody a little bit upset in the moment because you're not doing what they want you to do, they're going to be attracted to you. They're going to eventually fall in line, and they're going to want to be around you because it is a highly attractive trait to possess, which means you need to be fearless. Okay. There's nothing to fear losing when you are self-recognized and grounded in the type of treatment you deserve, you're respecting yourself, and you're valuing yourself properly. Now let's talk about, again, how this translates in the moment and why I talk a lot about the difference between reacting versus responding. There are going to be moments where you need to respond to things because there's a lack of value and tone of disrespect to the things that are going on around you. And it's very necessary for you to organize yourself in a particular way and respond in a particular way that says it's unacceptable. A lot of people go in the direction of freaking out, yelling, screaming because you're triggered, and I get it, right? You're upset at the thing that's going on. When you operate in that manner, when somebody is able to get that negative reaction out of you, you're going to begin to lose respect. And why? Because you're not respecting yourself in that moment. You're not valuing yourself properly in that moment. You're allowing somebody to come into your life and try to give you something or do something that is below what you deserve. And instead of realizing that and remaining self-grounded, self-valued, and self-respecting and saying, no, thank you, that's not for me, or removing yourself, you're getting upset with this person, wanting to attack them. And it's coming from a place, I do think a lot of those types of reactions come from a place of, this is fucking bullshit. Why are you doing this? Okay, I deserve better. But the whole thing is, if you actually really genuinely believed and knew you deserve better, you wouldn't even entertain this thing. And because it's getting that negative of a reaction from you, again, like I said earlier, there are some moments where that may be necessary, okay? But in those moments where you could easily just walk away or not entertain something, it really does translate in a way where you don't respect yourself. You don't really see or know what you're worth. You don't really see your own value. You really aren't grounded in the type of treatment or the type of respect that you deserve from another individual. When you choose not to react in that way, that is a choice of self-respect. You are guarding your inner peace, your inner worth, your inner value. You're realizing that this individual, this person, whatever this thing is, okay, that is occurring is below the treatment that you deserve. And instead of engaging with it in a negative manner, you are either responding to it calmly and removing yourself or just removing yourself. That translates for you. Somebody that values themselves highly, somebody that respects themselves highly is going to do that. And they're also going to be able to do that because they have a belief system, a value system, a way of viewing themselves that is not unconsciously placing people, places, or things higher in their perception, okay, than themselves. And not from a cocky place either. I'm not talking about being egotistical, okay? I'm not talking about being narcissistic. I'm talking about being genuinely self-recognized in who you are, what you deserve, and the type of treatment that you deserve and your value. When you're able to respond in those ways, it translates for you. I'm not doing this. I'm not playing this game. I know what I deserve. I'm worthy of respect. I'm not going to disrespect you or stoop down to this level. If you want to approach me, you need to approach me properly. I have no problem valuing myself or removing myself and surrounding myself with individuals that do show up properly for me. So if you want to come into my life, you better show up properly. It says all of that for you without having to actually say it. And that is where somebody's going to respect you. That is where somebody's going to see that you know your worth and your value, that you know what you deserve, that you know what you're going to get out of this life. Instead, what a lot of people are doing is they're walking around with a lot of limiting beliefs, insecurities, doubts, fears. Things are popping up that they don't like. It's triggering them. It's causing you to spiral. You're getting frustrated with this particular person or whatever it is that's going on because it's serving as evidence of what you genuinely believe on the inside. Oh, men are trash. This is why you're fucking showing up this way. Fuck you. Blah, blah, blah. Women are trash. This is why you're showing up this way. Fuck you. Blah, blah, blah. And you're reacting through your limitations, your insecurities, your doubts, your fears. You're not respecting yourself. You're not valuing yourself properly. And that's why those situations get really ugly. We want to be with partners that value themselves, respect themselves, know their worth, are able to respond appropriately and deal with situations in a way that is mature, balanced, and leads towards solutions. And that really goes down to understanding how you're responding to stuff and why you're responding to it in that manner. If you want to create a relationship where another individual respects you, you need to be able to respect yourself in those moments when you want to go to a negative reaction and blow up on somebody, and decide that you're better than that, your internal peace is more important, and that you can remove yourself or you can handle this in a different way. And you could even go as far as maybe being a little bit compassionate. Okay. Oh, you're doing this because you have some things you're struggling with. This is not going to be anything that I have to deal with in my life. I'm sorry that you're going through things. I really care about you. However, it's inappropriate for you to show up in my life and do these things. I really care about you, but you're going to need to approach me differently. I'm not going to make you feel bad. I'm not going to paint you out as a horrible person or project a limiting story onto you. I believe in the best of you, but I'm just not fucking with this. Okay. When you can respect and value yourself in that manner, you're going to see that it is so attractive, and your ability to turn around negative situations, increases exponentially because you're not escalating them. You have to be the change, right? So this is why in a lot of my content, I say, you have to be the change. You have to be the change. You can't be continually reacting to everything that's going on around you. That doesn't help anybody. And, perpetuating these negative stories that men suck, women suck, people can't be trusted, that's all in your mind. Maybe you have experiences to support that, but does that mean it's necessarily true? No. And do you want to live in a world where that's where you're walking around and that's how you're thinking? Does that mean that I think all men or women should be trusted? No. But you can definitely design a belief system like, I'm attracted to trustworthy individuals. And guess what? Just like how when you drove down that road and you didn't see something for a long time, once that belief gets in alignment, you're going to start to see individuals that are trustworthy. You have to take accountability for creating your life and what you're entertaining and what you believe about yourself and what you believe about different areas of your life. This is just how your mind works. You're only going to see, create, and attract in what you believe about yourself or what you believe about different areas of your life. You're always going to prove it true to yourself. And it's not very fun to live in a mind where you think everybody sucks, people don't respect or love you. You're not fully set on your worth and your value. You can't get what you want out of life. Relationships are terrible. You can't get the job that you desire. Money's difficult. I understand there are circumstances at play here, you guys. I understand the worldview and what's going on a global scale. However, in order for any of that to change, it comes down to the individuals that make up that society. Even in yesterday's video, I was talking about women knowing their worth and their value. Why is that important? Why is that important? When we have a society full of women that value themselves properly and don't accept subpar treatment and stop reacting to it or entertaining it, it's going to show men that they need to step up to the plate, be strong, be respectful, value people properly, and make men even stronger. So now we'll have a society full of strong men and strong women that know their worth and their value, that honor themselves, that respect one another, that set positive examples for their children, and it helps society as a whole. There's a lot of things going on in this world right now. And we have two choices. We can sit here and perpetuate all of these things, scrolling through TikTok, looking at all this negative shit, being a part of the problem, or we can value ourselves, respect ourselves, rise above it, set a new example, set a new standard, know it into being, and be a part of the change. But it all comes down to making those internal changes first. A lot of people go in the other direction. It's like working out, like if you have a lot of negative beliefs about yourself, insecurities, doubts, or fears, and you think going to the gym is going to fix you, it's not. If you don't feel worthy of love and you haven't created love as something within yourself, if you're not secure within yourself or valuing yourself properly, getting into a relationship is not going to make you feel fulfilled. If you think something is inherently wrong with yourself and making a ton of money is going to validate you, you're going to get that money and you're still not going to feel good enough. It has to be an internal change first. You can create specific things in your life. You want to have a ton of money? Great. Go ahead, create that for your life. You want to be in a specific relationship? Great. Go ahead and create that in your life. You want to have a rocking body and be hot as fuck and in the gym all the time? Go ahead, do that. But those things are not going to create this internal change. They might help you feel a little bit better sometimes, okay? But in order to create sustainable results in your life, it starts internally. It really starts internally. And I know you guys have seen this. I know you've seen this. When somebody, like even the gym example, when somebody goes to the gym and they just think, oh, if I get a really hot body, then I'll finally be good enough. And they're still acting terrible. They still have insecurities. They still don't know how to respond to things appropriately. So they still can't get a relationship, okay? Because it's an internal change that has to occur. You don't have to change yourself physically to be good enough. If you want to do those things, is it bad? No. It is an internal change, though. And until you accept and recognize that, you're going to continue to recreate the same things. And that ties into respecting yourself. If you really want to create change in your life, you're going to respect yourself enough to sit down and do whatever you need to do to value yourself differently, to challenge limiting beliefs, to challenge limiting narratives, and to stop feeding into the problems that are going on in society as a whole. To no longer engage in the gossip, and to rise above it, and to set a positive example, because this is very serious, you guys. There's a lot going on in the world right now. And it is important that we have a functioning society of individuals that value themselves properly, that no longer engage in bullshit, that respond to things appropriately, and that set positive examples. So I hope today's message reminds you to respect yourself, to honor yourself, to realize what is or is not worth a reaction or a response, and to set the best example in your reality and believe in your ability to create what you want through being the change.